Announcement, page number 77. Of shortcoming. Pali word is Hamatha Me Bhante. So when we conduct a religious service, in the end we recite this verse. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena mayakata acchayang khama me bhante bhuripanya tathagata. Here we address the Buddha, but we can use the same wording asking forgiveness for the mistake committed by us to anybody, whether our parents or teachers or friends or relatives or elders, anybody. We can use the same wording. This is very important. At the same time, there is some sort of controversial issue. That is, forgiveness of sins. Is it forgiveness of sin? We always say there is no such belief or practice amongst the Buddhist community or in the teachings of the Buddha, such thing as forgiveness of sins committed by us. Although many other religions or religionists very strongly believe that God can forgive their sins. The Buddha very clearly mentioned in Dhammapada, Suddhi Asuddhi Pacchattang Nanya Manya Visodhi. Purity and impurity. That means good karma or bad karma. Accumulate by us. Another person cannot create good karma or bad karma in our mind. Another person can create conditions, environment, atmosphere. After that we create either good karma or bad karma in our mind according to certain circumstances. Again, another person cannot purify either God or Buddha or any other supernatural living being in this world. No one can cleanse or purify the mind when the evil deeds or bad karma or sins are committed. That is Buddhism. The reason is, sins or bad karmas are not committed by the physical body or words, but they are channels. All our good and bad karmas are committed by our mind. And another person cannot purify the mind unless we make up our own mind. Take for instance, if you are very cruel or very wicked or very selfish, almost every day you can go and pray and worship, asking God or Buddha to take away your cruelty, your wickedness. It never works unless, so until you make up your own mind, I must withdraw this cruelty from my own mind. Whether you are praying or not, whether you are believing in God or not, after that you can get rid of that weakness or that wicked mental attitude. That is why the Buddha says it is impossible for another person to change your mind, to cleanse your mind, to purify your mind. Through your understanding, you have to make up your own mind. Then you can change your way of life, your mental attitude. Here, this is not the forgiveness of sins. That is why I had to clarify this. Let us see the meaning. If by deeds, speech, or through heedlessly I have done anything wrong, not the sins, anything wrong, mistakes, forgive me, O Master, O Teacher, most wise. Here we address to the Buddha. So when you talk to another person, you can use or teacher or father or mother or friends. Please forgive me. I might have done certain mistake because we are not perfect. Usually we do mistake through speech and in action. We do certain things, it may hurt others' feeling. We say certain things intentionally or unintentionally, which create misunderstanding or anger or hurt others' feeling. So we regard this as a mistake, wrongly done, intentionally or unintentionally. So when we recite this, all those who have created misunderstanding or enmity or anger or unhappiness, unpleasant feeling because of our word or action, after that they completely forget about that. They don't want to keep that in their mind. That is the advantage. Because some people keep certain things and maintain this as grudge. They are very unhappy about your attitude. So when you say like this, they withdraw the idea that they had in their mind, you have done something wrong for them. Another thing, this is my advice to all of you as Buddhists. If not earlier, at least before our death, if we have created enmity with another person, we should not die by keeping that enmity in our mind. We had to withdraw that. Even that wicked Devadatta, who tried to kill the Buddha 3 times before his death, he wanted to come and ask his forgiveness. Although the Buddha could not forgive his sins committed by him, but he wanted to withdraw the enmity that he has created. But unfortunately, he had no chance to reach the Buddha. Before that, at the gate of the Jetavana monastery, he died. So many people do that before they are dead. Either they approach them earlier, if not invite them. Please forgive me if I have done anything wrong. If there is any enmity or anger, they withdraw. Then they can die peacefully. Then the rebirth cannot become unfortunate one because they have withdrawn that dark spot in the mind. Many people are doing this because they know the danger of this. Again, just now I told you, it is impossible to forgive the sins committed by us. But this is the only thing that others can forgive. When you say, please forgive me for the mistake that I have done, or the wrong words that I have uttered, if I have hurt you, your feeling, please forgive me. So when that person withdraw that feeling, after that no more. This is the only thing in Buddhism. We can say that we can forgive. But not all the other bad karmas that we have committed simply by saying something we cannot withdraw. That is why we recite this one. Kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya katang acchayam kama me bhante bhuripanya tathagata. It is not necessary for you to recite in Pali. You can use any language whatever you like, that which that person can understand. Otherwise you think you must recite in Pali. Otherwise that he will never forgive you. Now, the next item is very important. Jayamangala Gatha. Page number 81. These Jayamangala Gathas are very famous in certain Buddhist countries, especially in Sri Lanka, I think Thailand, and Burma. Whenever there is any auspicious occasion, and where they perform some religious service, this is the first item. They train some young boys and girls to recite, and with background music, very soothing, feeling the experience, and very meaningful. So after this, they continue their religious programs. You might have seen even here in this temple, we have done this on many occasions, our youths or Sunday school children, how they recite. And each stanza convey a certain incident, what happened to the Buddha, and how he could manage to gain victory, how he won the battle by using his compassion, kindness, patience, understanding, good qualities and perfections or paramitas, without using any weapons or without using even any vulgar word to disturb others, without using his physical strength to attack others. That is the Buddhist attitude. Now let us recite this. You can learn how to recite. First stanza. Bahung sahasma binim mitra sayudang tang giri mekalang udita gore sasena marang dana di dhamma vidina gitava munindo tang tejasa bhavatu te jaya mangalani. So when you recite for others, you have to take tan tejasa bhavatu te. Te means for you. When you recite for yourself, you have to recite bhavatu me. Let us try again, louder. Right. Bahung sahasramabinim mitazayudang tang girimekhalang uditagore sasena marang danadi dhamma vidina jitavamunindo kang tejasa bhavatu te jaya mangalani. Good. At home you can do this with your family, with your children. So how nice if you can decide at least few stanzas. Then children also get the chance to learn, they enjoy. And the meaning, creating 1,000 hands armed with weapons, Mara was seated on the trumpeting ferocious elephant Girimekhala. Him, together with his army, did the Lord of Sages subdue by means of generosity and other virtues. By the grace of this may joyous victory be mine. That is the meaning of this recital. And what is the background of this recital? Mara. I think you can remember, I have told you, in every religion there is a very powerful evil force. Christianity and Islam believe there is a devil or Satan always disturb religious activities. Then Hinduism, there are so many stories where they mention about Asura. Asura is a very evil, supernatural, some sort of devas, but very wicked, very cruel, very powerful, always disturb good people. That is why in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, Sri Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect good people or religious people. Vinasaya cha duskritam, vinasaya, to destroy. Duskritam, those who are wicked, are referring to these asuras. So when their God appeared, they have seen asuras are creating hell of a trouble, disturbances in this world. So the God, Hindu God, destroyed these wicked asuras. But when we refer to the Buddha, there is no such incident where the Buddha destroyed any wicked person who disturbed others. This is the uniqueness in Buddhism. Instead of destroying them, the Buddha tried to correct them, to show them the correct path. So destroying our enemies is not very difficult, but to correct them, to show them the correct path is very, very difficult. There is a beautiful saying in Bodhicharya Avatara. Duties or vows or virtues of a Bodhisattva. In this book, Aryadeva, the writer, says, we cannot get rid of our enemies by destroying them, because enemies are endless. There is no end. When you destroy few enemies, you create more enemies. Therefore, there is no end, or you cannot get rid of problems and difficulties by destroying your enemies. But you can overcome all your problems and troubles by destroying only one thing. That is your anger. If you can destroy your anger, all your enemies also automatically disappear. This is a very deep meaning. When you think, you can understand. Now this is the nature of Buddhism. So we never glorify. Now others celebrate various occasions, lighting lamps and holding feasts and festivals, enjoying, saying, few thousand years ago, today, our Lord destroyed all wicked enemies, asuras, yakthas, devils, evil, those who have committed evil deeds. But we Buddhists never utter such words. Few thousand years ago, the Buddha destroyed all these devils and ghosts and everybody who committed evil, who destroyed others. But we celebrate saying, today the Buddha trained and tamed that wicked, untamable murderer, devil who lived on human flesh. How the Buddha trained that person to become a religious person. This is the Buddhist attitude. So, Buddhism always mentions about Mara, not Asura or devil or Satan. When first human beings appeared on this earth, so according to Christianity and Islam, devil also appeared. According to them, the devil also created by God. Later, God could not control the devil created by him. He became more powerful. God advised human beings not to do certain things, but devil influenced them to do that. That is how sins appeared in this world according to them. They were influenced or created temptation by devil. Buddhism also talk about the beginning of or the origin of human life on this earth, but not created by God, because there were endless world system in this universe. Devas or supernatural living beings and some other living beings exist. And the whole universe never become empty. Always there are living beings. There is no such thing as utter destructions of the whole universe. When one section or certain galaxies, certain world system disappear, some others exist. When they disappear, some others exist. This is the Buddhist attitude about the origin and the beginning of the world system. Buddhism says, when there were no more living beings on this earth, two devas or Brahmas came down to this earth and settled down. When they came down, they have controlled their evil forces, craving, selfishness, anger, jealousy in their mind. Although they have not eradicated completely, subdued. But after experiencing certain things according to environment on this earth, slowly the hidden craving, temptation, attachment develop. They were already in their subconscious mind, not created by devil. I see the difference now. Other religion says, first human beings become wicked and jealous or selfish, greedy because of devil. Buddhism says, they develop these weaknesses in their mind, they have not completely eradicated them. Now if they have attained Arahanta saint, they cannot develop their craving, attachment, selfishness or wickedness completely eradicated. So there are some Brahmas who have control and subdue, keep these human weaknesses under control. But circumstances, when stir the mind, again they experience this temptation, craving, all the other evil forces start to develop in the mind. This is the difference between Buddhism and other religions. So, this incident is like this. Mara was watching from the very day when Prince Siddhartha or the Buddha renounced worldly life to gain his enlightenment. He tried to mislead him, discourage him, disturb him. But Buddha, not yet attained Buddhahood, so we can address him as Buddha. He knew this is a wicked, evil, living beings who always disturb those who are trying to be religious, virtuous. This is the nature of the wicked world. He could not change young prince's mind. So when he was meditating, he was practicing austerity, that means self-torture, thinking that he can gain enlightenment through these practices. Finally, he realized that should not be the correct method. So when he was practicing, one day Mara appeared and advised him as a good friend, told him, you know you are a prince. You have given up a kingdom. You can enjoy your life instead of suffering like this. Why not you go back? Rule your country as a ruler. You can enjoy your life. At the same time, if you want, you can do a lot of meritorious deeds, merits. Then the Buddha, what he said, I am not working to gain merits, to accrue merits. Merits are important for worldly people to carry on their journey in this samsara, to gain their requisite, to enjoy their worldly life. either as humans or devas, but I am not working to enjoy my worldly life. I am working for my spiritual development, either as humans or devas, but I am not working to enjoy my worldly life. I am working for my spiritual development, to gain my wisdom, enlightenment. Merit cannot give this to me. He said, Anumattena pi punyena attho maihang na vidyati. Even a little bit of merit, punya, or good karma, cannot give anything for me. What I need is to gain enlightenment, to guide others, not to enjoy my own freedom or happiness or salvation. So the Mara could not mislead him. And there were many other occasions where Mara disturbed the disciples. So one day, the Buddha visited or invited by a very devout Buddhist. After offering dana, the Buddha gave a sermon. After listening to this sermon, this person attained the first stage of sainthood, Sotapanna. Mara was watching. He was very unhappy about it. When the Buddha returned to the temple, Mara came back, representing. I think one day I have narrated that story where Mara came and disturbed Venerable Upagupta. Can you remember the story? A very interesting story. Please remind me, now I am going somewhere else. Sometimes I cannot come back. 200 years after the Buddha, there was a very learned, wonderful orator in India. Whenever he gives sermon, thousands and thousands of people assemble every day. Mara was very unhappy about this. He was thinking what to do now. More and more people every day becoming Buddhist. So what he did, he organized some sort of divine music, dancing and singing and entertainment just opposite the temple where Upagupta gives his sermon. So when this program is going on, the majority of these devotees assemble there, enjoy wonderful music, dance, divine music. Angels are dancing, not human beings. Slowly, 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 2 or 3 left with Upagupta. You know, they are holy-minded people, although they have devotion. Even in your case, if there is a program like this, I am sure the majority will go there tomorrow. I cannot control you. So Upagupta was thinking, what to do now? I must teach him a good lesson. Although he has done a lot of monkey tricks and disturbed the Buddha did not teach him a good lesson. But I must teach him a good lesson. So what he did, he also went there and joined with the crowd. Enjoy the entertainment. When the performance was over, he got up and said, we really enjoy your entertainment. We appreciate your effort. So in appreciation of your performance, I won't put a garland in honor of you. So he was very proud, the Mara. So Upagupta went with a nice garland and put this garland on his neck. Then later, what happened? He found out slowly this garland started tightening like python, his neck. He tried to pull it out. Cannot. The more he tried, the more this one is going on tightening and tightening. He thought he was going to die. What he did? Immediately he went to the king of the Deva, Sakra, and asked, please help me. I am in trouble. Why? Somebody put this garland. Now I cannot take it out and tightening. I cannot breathe. Sakra, the king of Devas, also tried and tried, could not remove this. Then he suggested, the creator of this world, Mahabrahma, you must go and see. So he went to see the creator of this world, Mahabrahma, and appealed, please help me. Mahabrahma also tried and tried, say, I am sorry, I cannot remove this. But he is very wise. He told him, if you really want to get rid of this, I advise you to go back to the same person who put this garland on your neck. So, in a hurry he came back and apologized and asked him to remove this garland. Then Upagupta said, yes, I can do that. Under two conditions. First thing, you must promise in future not to come and disturb the Buddhist devotees when they conduct a religious sermon or religious service. He said, yes, I will agree. Second condition is this. I have not seen the Buddha because I am living 200 years after the Buddha. But I heard you have approached the Buddha on many occasions and you can represent the Buddha transformed into a Buddha figure with 32 special characteristics, features. I like to see the real Buddha figure. If you promise to do that, I will remove this garland. He said, yes, I can do that. Then Upagupta removed this garland. He is very free now. Then Mara said one thing. When I am going to represent here as the Buddha, you should not worship me. Only under that condition I represent here as the Buddha. Because I am not holy and you are a holy man. So you should not worship me. Upagupta said, no, I am not going to worship you. Then at once he transformed himself to a Buddha figure and stood in front of him. At once Venerable Upagupta worshipped. Mara shouted, you promised that you are not going to worship me. Then Upagupta said, my dear friend, I do not worship Mara, I worship the Buddha. Remember this story. Those who come and condemn you, you are worshipping idols, statues, metals. This is the answer. You do not worship idols or metals or clay or this or that. You worship the Buddha. These are very good lessons. Now let me come back. So, when the Buddha returned to his monastery from that house, the Buddha came back again. That is Mara. Came and told that man, do you know what I have told you earlier? Mistakenly I have told you this and that. That is not the truth. You must follow this path. Contradicting to the earlier teachings, Mara started to preach. But this man has already attained the first stage of sainthood. No one can mislead. A person never change his or her faith or belief or confidence after attaining the first stage of sainthood. Never change the mind. Because the reality, the realization already appeared in the mind. When Mara started to preach at the Buddha, this man said, I believe that the Buddha never had two words, only one word. You are not the Buddha, you must be Mara. Then Mara suddenly disappeared. There were many occasions where he tried to play the fool like this. Now this is the first time. When he was about to gain his enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, early morning, this battle started. He knew Siddhartha Gautama is going to gain enlightenment. I must go and disturb him. Chase him away from this place. It says, creating thousands hands, and with his battalion, he got his own army, with weapons. He came. By creating all sort of fierce, horrible looking features to frighten. The Buddha was alone under that tree. Nobody else. So he started his battle to attack him. The Buddha used all the good qualities, paramitas, perfections, kindness, compassion, all the good qualities that he has developed in him as weapons to protect himself. In the end, the Mara was defeated. Now he wanted to challenge. He knew by fighting he cannot win the battle. He said, you have no right to come and sit down under this tree. You must get up and get out from this place. Then the Buddha said, I have every right to come and sit down here for gaining enlightenment. Then Mara asked, what evidence have you got to prove? That is why in the Buddha statue you can see his one hand is like this and another hand is like this, pointing to the earth. He said, all these suns and moons and galaxies and stars have seen what I have done, life after life, for gaining my enlightenment. This very earth witnessed what I have done, how I sacrifice my life for gaining this enlightenment. That is why still in the Buddha statue you can see this one finger like this and pointing the earth, witness. Finally Mara had to surrender. A great victory. So we mention this victory of the Buddha, How he gained this victory? By the power of great virtues and perfection and knowledge and wisdom. And the most powerful wicked, Mara, evil one, with thousands of battalions, army, could not defeat the Buddha. So by the power of this great victory, may, here we say, may joyous victory be mine. Right, join with me. Number 2. Maratireka mabiyun jita sabbaratin gorang penalevekemake matadayakang kanti sudante vidina jitava munindo tangke jasa bhavatu me jaya mangalani. Good. Now, when you recite these stanzas by following rhythm, you have to break the words in certain places, otherwise you miss the rhythm. That is why now, Maratireka Mabi, you can stop there if you want to sing this one. Maratireka Mabi Yujita, then Sabbharati. But when you use the stanza grammatically, we have to use in this way to get the meaning of the recital. Alright, meaning. More violent than Mara was the obstinate demon Alavaka, who battled with the Buddha throughout the night. Him did the Lord of Sages subdue by means of his patience and self-control. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine. This is another incident. Lord of Sages, here in this Jayamangal Gatha always use this in English, Lord of Sages. The Pali word is Muni. Here, Munindo, Jitava Munindo. Muni means sage. Muni Inda means highest Muni. That is why I say Lord of Sage. The Buddha is the highest sage amongst all the sages. Muni is one of the word for the Buddha. The story is like this. Alavaka. Alavaka lived in the jungle, in a cave. He lived on human flesh. Therefore people have given the name as devil. Actually he is not a devil. Very, very strong, very powerful, very wicked human beings live on human flesh. He catch human beings just like wild beasts who catch other animals. The Buddha, what he does actually, every day, early morning, the first duty in his daily routine is to survey, to find out whether there is anybody who need his service. And then he gets the picture of that person into his mind. So on that particular day, when he was surveying, he saw this man, this wicked human being who destroyed human life, who was misled. He decided to reach him. Every day he does something like this, then start his work. So he went to the jungle. When he visited there, Alavaka was not in the cave. He has gone out for hunting human beings. But his attendant was there. He was a kind-hearted person. He advised the Buddha not to come nearer to this cave, because his master is a very dangerous person. Then the Buddha says, you should not worry about me. I know how to look after myself. He went inside the cave and sat down where Alavaka used as his seat. When Alavaka came back, surprised to see that a human being is sitting on his seat in the cave, he really could not believe who this person is. All the others run away when they come nearer to Alavaka, but this person purposely came to my cave and sitting there. He is insulting me. He thought, instead of killing him at once, to torture him. After torturing and later he can kill him. What he did, he came and asked him to get up. The Buddha obeyed him. He got up. Get up. Slowly he walked. Went up. Come back. The Buddha again came back. Sit down. Sat down. Get up. Again he got up. Get up. Again he went up. Come back. Came back. Sit down. He sit down. Get up. 3 times. 4th time, when he gave the order, then the Buddha stood like a giant. He had different technique for different people. Sometimes he is very kind, sometimes very strong. He stood like a giant. When he said, get out, the Buddha said, I am not going to obey you. You can do anything whatever you like. My God, Alavaka got a shock in his life. Now this person is challenging. All right. He changed his attitude. He knew by fighting he cannot hurt this person. This person must be a very powerful person. He said, I am going to ask certain questions. If you are not going to answer, I'll take you, I will lick and throw into the other bank of the river. If not, I split your heart into 2. Answer my questions. Then the Buddha said, Nakkahang tang aso passami sadevake loke samarake sassamana brahmaniya pajaya sadeva manussaya. Look here, my dear friend. There is nobody in this whole universe, either humans or animals or devas or brahmas or any other living being who can do that to me. If you like, you but try and see. Without talking rubbish. If you have any questions, you can ask. Again he had to surrender some more. Then he asked a series of questions. You can see this in Alavaka Sutra, Paritta chanting book. First question is, Sad Kinsu Davittang Purisassa Settang. That is the first question. Kinsu Davittang. Vittang means wealth. What is the highest wealth in this world for human being? Then the Buddha answered the question, Saddhi Davittang Purisassa Settang. Saddha, faith, confidence is the highest wealth for human being. There is no any other wealth which can give so much hopes and confidence and peace and happiness other than the faith or confidence. A series of questions. So when he answered all his questions, he surrendered, came and kneel down and worshipped and asked the Buddha to accept him as one of his disciples. He took refuge. Buddham saranam gacchami. I take refuge. He followed the Buddha. Now you can see, instead of destroying, killing and disturbing wicked people, what sort of method the Buddha adopted? That is the nature of enlightenment. He used all the good qualities and virtues, not worldly power, by frightening and threatening others. This is the background of this second saying of the Alavaka Sutra. Now let us recite once more. So next Friday I will continue. So every stanza got a story like this. Marati Ekmabiyun Jitarabbaratin Gorang Penalavakamakhe Matadjayakang Kanti Sudan Kevidina Jitara Munindo Tangke Sabavatume Jaya Mangalani. Page number 211, Punyanumodana, sharing of merits. Recite together. Now I think you know how to recite. Imina punya kammena upadhyaya gunottara acari upakaraja mata pita priya mamang Suryo Chandi Maharaja Gunavanta Narapiche Brahma Maharaja Indraja Lokapalaja Devata Yamo
ตามนุสสาเจมัจจตาเวริตาปิเจสัพเพสัตตาสุขีหันตุปุญญานิภกตานิเมสุขันเจติดังเดนตุอิปังภาเพตโวมตังสาธุ